Today's episode of the Goldcast is sponsored by the just elation, the excitement. I'm jumping out of my bones at week one. It's right around the corner. Here it comes, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about all the games coming up. But before we do that, Raymond, why don't you let them know where can they find us?
You can follow us on twitter.com at the Goldcast _. You can also follow us on Instagram at the Goldcast. You can also like us on Facebook at facebook.com/the Goldcast. And you can also subscribe to us via iTunes, YouTube, and Stitcher, all under the same moniker of the Goldcast. Please like, subscribe. We'd like to hear from you, and we certainly enjoy engaging in conversation, especially that YouTube crew.
All right. So today we have a super fun episode for you guys. I love this. I can't wait. We're going to go and give you our season predictions of how the Niners are going to do game by game with our final predictions and where we think the 49ers are going to land in terms of this season. I've heard a lot of different predictions. I've heard some really pessimistic ones, like, putting us around like 5 or 6 games. And I've heard some extremely optimistic ones, putting us at like 11-5. I think I might end up somewhere in the middle, and maybe Raymond will too. You're going to find out right now, though. Here we go. Goldcast intro. Let's get busy.
San Francisco, are you ready? Are you ready? This is the Goldcast.
Boom! Welcome to another edition of the Goldcast. We are the voice of the faithful. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III.
Raymond Solis, my co-host, baby.
Boom! All right, Ray. Here we go. Our season predictions. We're going to go game by game. For you, the listener, we're going to tell you what we think is going to happen and where we end up at the end of the 2018-2019 season. Arguably, easily one of the most anticipated seasons in a long, long time. A lot of excitement out there. A lot of hype surrounding this team. A lot of hype. We're going to break it down. We're going to see, do we agree with all the hype? Raymond, let's figure this out. So, Ray, let's begin first. Week 1. It's a doozy. 49ers at Vikings. 10 a.m. Eastern, U.S. Bank Stadium. Let me know who takes that game.
Well, the way I see it is, if this was later in the season, week 1 is always kind of an interesting part of the season because it's after preseason. The ones don't even play the 4th game of the preseason. They do the dress rehearsal in the 3rd game of the season, and they get minimal reps in the first 2 games. So week 1, I think there's still a period of acclimation for all teams, especially the ones. And everyone's not quite into rhythm yet. The first month, September, the first quarter of the season is really all about this. You're not going to really see the team's identity until about the 3rd, 4th, and 5th week. You're going to start to see that more fleshed out. So week 1, week 2, and week 3 to a degree, to a slightly less degree, is very much an acclimating period for all the teams still. And so that's why I think that the Niners really have a chance to kind of surprise Minnesota, because they're going to be in this period, and I'm not so sure. And, who knows? There could be some hangover from that loss, that really devastating loss the pounding they took in the NFC Championship game, and they also kind of got lucky against New Orleans. So there could be some hangover from that, but I like their chances of San Francisco being able to surprise them with a win. San Francisco typically does well in week 1, although the last few years we've done great in week 1 and terrible the rest of the season. So who knows? This might be this thing where it's the reverse, where we do terrible in week 1, but we do great the rest of the season, or good enough the rest of the season. But this is a toss-up game, and so why not? Let's play the optimist side of this and say that Minnesota takes it.
All right. Raymond says Minnesota takes week 1. If there's a chance to take this game and steal it from Minnesota, week 1 is the time to do it. The Minnesota Vikings were in the NFC Championship on a crazy play. A crazy, crazy play. That team is pretty strong. Got an excellent defense. They've now upgraded at quarterback with Kirk Cousins there. Jimmy Garoppolo has now had an entire offseason to prepare and to learn the Shanahan playbook, and I'm sure we've got plenty of surprises in tow. Shanahan is really good at picking apart defenses. Has a really good with schemes. Minnesota, on the other hand, does have a really strong defense. We're in their stadium. I'm going to go the opposite route. I'm going to say the Niners lose in a close game to the Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to say we take a L in the first one. So Raymond's going to say OW. I'm going to say an L. All right. Here we go. Week 2. Detroit in San Francisco.
Detroit was 9-7 last season, and I don't really think that Matt Patricia is ready to lead a team. I just don't see him as being all that great of a head coach. I don't expect big things out of him, especially out of Detroit. Detroit just can't seem to get it together, whether it's a player personnel issue or a front office or a coaching staff issue. So even though Detroit was 9-7 last season and they looked like they were heading to the playoffs, they kind of fumbled in and ended up, not doing very well down the stretch, losing a lot of pivotal games that they should have won, struggling against teams that were over 500 and beating the weaker teams. They were just that was just one of those teams that was great at beating crappy teams, terrible at beating good teams. And this is one where it's kind of a little bit more obvious. We're at home. We're coming off the Vikings game. It's the first home opener under Shanahan. So I expect that game plan and Jimmy G to really show strong in that first game, especially Jimmy G. I think he's going to put up some big passing numbers against Detroit because they don't have it together in terms of passing defense. So I expect that to be a very easy W.
All right, let's move on. Next game, week 3. 49ers at Chiefs. San Francisco goes to Kansas City to face our AFC West brothers, the home of where 49er quarterbacks go to die. 1 p.m. Eastern, Arrowhead Stadium. Shanahan versus Reed. Garoppolo versus Mahomes. Who do you got?
This is in Arrowhead, and this is week 3. The Niners will also be in stride, but they're traveling 2 out of these first 3 weeks, and that's tough. You're away in Minnesota, then you're home, then you're away again. So I think that the Chiefs win this one, not necessarily because of Reed out coaching Shanahan, but I think the defense tends to play well against the run. This is a good run defense. We don't have a surefire number 1. We picked up Alfred Morris, but we lost our guy McKinnon, the $30 million man, due to an ACL tear. So that's unfortunate. And I don't think Breida and Alfred are going to be enough to get past Kansas City's run defense in this stage of the season. So I think this is a loss for us.
I agree. Andy Reid's much further along. They've got a really tight system there. I think that defense is really solid, and I am going to give this one to Kansas City. So at this point in the season, the Niners are 1-2 on my books, and they're 2-1 in your books. Let's move on. 49ers head to San Diego to face the Chargers. We are like on the road a crap ton these first 6 weeks. I don't like this. Anyways, all right, 49ers in San Diego versus the Chargers. Ray, what do you think?
San Diego, this is another one. This is another team that seems to be on the rise, but you just don't know if they're going to get it together when they need to in terms of really making a push and as far as making the tournament goes. And I'm just not convinced that they've got the staff. They've got some personnel pieces in there. They got Joey Bosa. They've got a great new running back. He's actually on my fantasy team. But I'm just not sure if Anthony Lynn is the guy that's going to really lead them to a promising season. I'm just not sure about it. So, what was their record last year? They were, what are they? What division are they? AFC West? Yeah, they were 9-7, so they're kind of hovering right around the same territory as the Detroit Lions. They're at home, which is great for them, but I'm not sure if they've got the right pieces in place to really give us a run for our money. I mean, I see this one as a win too.
I agree. I think this team is still finding its footing. I believe we do have enough to take this from them. I'm not really, even though they're kind of the dark horse of the AFC West, I'm really not that nervous about the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers. I also give that a win. And now let's move on to Week 5. Week 5, finally, another game back at home. The Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals, coming into town to face the San Francisco 49ers. Here we go. What a dumpster fire this team is. And I'm talking about the Cardinals. Go for it, Ray.
Well, we're at home. This is kind of a no-brainer. The Arizona Cardinals were 8-8 last season, but they lost Bruce Arians. They lost their quarterback. They're in rebuilding mode. They lost a defensive piece, some defensive pieces. So I think this is the beginning of their rebuilding mode, and it's going to be a rocky season for them. They're going to be battling last place with the Seahawks. Niners are going to be battling second place with the Seahawks, and so the Seahawks are kind of a coin flip as to where they're going to end up. It depends on where they're at too. I think they're in a better position than the Cardinals, but I don't see the Cardinals at 8-8 with a new coach, new quarterback, new defensive pieces really doing a whole lot of, they're not going to be doing what they did back in 2015. That's for sure. Even the last 2 seasons were all decline seasons. So I expect more of that decline to happen this year. And I say this is another win.
Agreed. I say this is another win too. Let's move on to Week 6. Week 6, this is a big one. This is an exciting one. 49ers versus the Packers. San Francisco at Green Bay. Jimmy G versus Aaron R. Who wins this game?
Jimmy, I think Green Bay takes this one. Green Bay is a tough team. Even though they were 7-9 last season, they've got a lot more punch. They've got a lot more bite than bark versus Arizona or Detroit. And despite having a lesser record than them, Aaron Rodgers was hurt a lot of last season, so he's fully healthy now. He's got a big contract under him. He doesn't have the pressure of wondering where he's going to end up at the end of that contract negotiation. He's going to be a Packer for life, very much like Brett Favre for the most part, after he left Atlanta to come to Green Bay. So I think this is week 6, or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, week 6. I think Green Bay is going to be in a healthy stride at this point, and they're on the road in Green Bay, San Francisco. I'm just not sure if that cold tundra is going to be, I don't know if they're going to be able to overcome all of those obstacles. Playing a future Hall of Fame quarterback in his home stadium on the road in the cold with a defense that I think is suspect in the secondary, and that's something that Aaron Rodgers will exploit without even blinking. So I think this is a loss.
Unfortunately, I agree. I also think this is a loss. Like you said, it's October. Green Bay's finding its stride. San Francisco has its stride. I still think this team is better. I still think Green Bay's a little bit further ahead. We're in their stadium. I'm going to give it to Lambeau, man. I'm going with the Green Bay Packers. All right, here we go. This is the game that is tattooed to my freaking forehead right now. October 21st, the game, head-to-head, Los Angeles Rams against the San Francisco 49ers in Levi Stadium, 5:20 game. This is the one. This is it. This is the test. This is the present and future rivalry of the NFC West. Rams and Niners, Niners and Rams. Let's go. This is the game at home. Ray, what do you say happens?
Coming off the heels of a really tough loss in Green Bay, I think they really kind of put it together and put up a showstopper it's a risky dice roll having all those character guys on that team, and I'm going to be waiting to see whether it comes together. And this one, I'm going to say the Niners pull a win out here.
Oh. All right. I'm going to say the same thing I said last year when we did this game. And I'm going to say the Rams come in and they pull out a tight one. It doesn't make me happy to say it. I say Niners lose at home against the Rams in a very controversial, tight loss. Doesn't make me happy. But I think the Rams come in and they beat us here. But don't worry, we get our revenge later. All right, October 28th, Week 8, San Francisco heads to Arizona to face those pesky Cardinals in back-to-back division games, and that's the third division game in 4 weeks. God, this schedule's brutal. What do you say happens, Ray?
Cardinals, I think, are just on the downside. So even on the road, I think the Niners are going to struggle on the road this season more than they are at home. And I think this is one of those games where, because Arizona is the inferior team, that the Niners on the rise is just going to overcome this, because that's just where they're at. One team is coming up, the other team is going down. And I think Kyle Shanahan's going to take advantage of Arizona's. I don't even know who their new coach is, but I think they're going to take advantage of this guy and this young rebuilding team and slightly older team, and pull out a win on the road.
I agree. And their coach is Stephen Wilkes, defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers.
Oh, that's right.
All right. I agree. We sweep the Cardinals. Goodbye. We chop their heads off. They're done. Adios. Next one. Week 9. Something that hasn't happened in a long time.
I thought these teams were banned from playing each other in the preseason.
Right? Week 9. The Las Vegas excuse me, I'm sorry. The Oakland. That's where they're going to be next year. The Oakland Raiders, who I don't know what on earth they've been doing this past week. It's business as usual over there. They've gone all the way back to full crazy. The Raiders will be playing the San Francisco 49ers in Levi Stadium. The last time these two teams played was in 2014. And the time before that was in 2011. It has been quite some time since we played them. Raymond, who wins this game? The garbage-ass Oakland Raiders versus our beautiful San Francisco 49ers.
They were 12-4 a couple seasons ago. Then they've just gone south ever since Jack Del Rio fired his offensive coordinator, which was kind of the beginning of the end for him, in my opinion. And now they've got John Gruden, who has, with McKenzie, has given up a lot of picks, have done some bad deals. They did a couple good deals. They lost Khalil Mack, their best defender, so they just lost a huge piece on the pass rush side, so that's going to hurt them. And it's a home game for the Niners. And I think Niners are going to be great at home this season. And Raiders, they were 6-10 last year. This was not a very potent offense, not a very good defense. And I think that's going to show again this season. And I think it's just going to be a really rough season for John Gruden. I think he's going to struggle, and I'm not sure if his time away, even though he's been watching the game and commentating on the game and studying tape, I'm not sure if that's enough for him to, acclimate smoothly back into the league, despite having a really good quarterback over there and some good pieces on the offensive side. I'm just not sure if it's going to be enough. And I think the Niners pull out another win here.
I agree. I think, I don't know, that whole team. I mean, getting rid of Khalil Mack, how mad would have you been, Ray, if we had Khalil Mack and we just traded him away?
It'd be like giving up Patrick Willis, a young Patrick Willis.
Yeah, I mean, just generational level player. And then they cut, man, their whole team over there is suspect. Then they cut their two backup QBs, and because then they decide that they want what's his name from the Bills. They also got rid of Martavius Bryant after him saying that he might get traded away. Yeah, no. So yeah, he might get suspended. So then they get rid of him after giving up a 3rd-round pick for him. So now that basically was nothing. NFL hasn't even got rid of him yet. And no, we wanted A.J. McCarron. That's who we traded for. We traded for A.J. McCarron, and we cut E.J. Manuel, even though he had a great preseason. And A.J. McCarron had a dumpster fire of a preseason over with the Buffalo Bills. And then then the Raiders trade for him. I don't know. That's just crazy. I don't know what they're doing over there. It's just business as usual, man. All right, here we go. Week 10. The New York Giants come here. Oh, wait, I didn't say this. I didn't tell you. I also believe we beat the Raiders. New York Giants head home to face us, San Francisco 49ers. Who takes this game, Raymond?
Which game? This is against the Giants. I think we have the Giants number at this point. We beat them last year. They're banking on Eli Manning. I just don't think it's a good bank, no matter how much money you give him. So I think this is another win. We're back-to-back home games here against two really not very good teams. Raiders, again, 6-10. The New York Giants were 3-13. I don't expect them to be climbing out of the cellar anytime soon. They might go 5-11 at best, but it's certainly not going to. One of those wins isn't going to come at our expense. Because we beat this team with C.J. Beathard. Now you think they're going to do any better with Jimmy G and all the pieces that have been put in place since that game? I don't see it.
I don't see it either. They go down. Agreed. We agree. Week 11 is the bye. Week 12, November 25th, 49ers head back out on the road over to a little city called Tampa Bay to face the Buccaneers. Raymond, who wins this game?
Tampa Bay this is another team that's just, you got Dirk Cutter as your head coach. They were 5-11. They're not even going to have their quarterback at the start of the season. I think they're going to have a really hard time coming out of the gate, and even though it's a home game, I don't expect them to beat Jimmy G. This season's becoming more optimistic as I think about these games. The way I just see it, I see the Niners beating a lot of crappy teams this year and struggling against some of the better teams, especially on the road.
So you're going to give this one to Tampa Bay?
No, I give this one to the Niners.
To the Niners.
Just because Tampa Bay's trash.
Tampa Bay is trash. I don't like teams traveling east. Hey, by the way, their stadium, Raymond James Stadium. It should have been Raymond Rudy Stadium. That'd be perfect. I'm digressing here. All right, so going back to this, I just think this is one of those stupid, weird, wonky games that the Niners are still a very young team, and we just lose to another crappy team. And it's just, I'm going to give this one an L to the Niners. All right, here we go.
You think the Niners lose this game?
I do. I think it's wonky. Team traveling, West Coast team traveling east. Yeah.
Is that a Thursday game? That'd be another thing to consider. I don't know which ones of these are Thursday night games, because that would change my decision. Thursday night games are really, really tough. I wish it would say it. Doesn't the schedule doesn't say which ones are which?
No, that's a Sunday.
Okay.
That's a Sunday. All right, here we go. Week 13. Now we go on the road to go face the Seahawks. They love these back-to-back road games with us this year. 49ers, first time in the season. We now go into the belly of the beast. CenturyLink Field, home of the 12th man. A team so good, they need their crowd to help them win the games. How impressive is that?
It's not impressive.
Not at all. San Francisco in Seattle, 49ers versus Seahawks. Let me know, Ray, who wins this game?
Again, I think this is on the road. You just came back-to-back road games from one end of the coast to the next. I think the Seahawks win in a tight one.
I also agree. I don't think this game is the one where we beat them. I think we lose on the road, back on the road 2 weeks in a row. Yeah. All right. So now, December 9th.
What happens December 9th? Let's see it.
December 9th, Denver Broncos. They hop on a little plane and they fly over to San Francisco to face the 49ers at Levi Stadium. Here we go. Broncos at Niners. Boom.
Denver's 5-11, so I think that they're just one of those in those weird places where you don't know what you're going to get from them at this point. They've kind of coming off of their little quick reign during the three stretch season and when they won it with Peyton Manning. So I think that this is going to be they're almost like a toss-up. You don't know what you're going to get out of Denver because they still have some good pieces, but you don't really trust them on the offensive side of the football. But I'm going to say this is going to be one of those weird back-to-back losses for them, and the Niners are going to lose one at home.
Ooh. Well, this is where we disagree. I think towards the end of the season, Broncos are probably scraping the bottom of the barrel of the AFC West. They come into town. Niners on my schedule had 2 back-to-back losses, and they say, F this. We're taking these suckers down. Jimmy G goes for it, makes it happen, pulls out the win. I think the Niners win this game. Now, here we go. Week 15, December 16th. I hope those of you at home are playing along with us. Seattle Seahawks come into San Francisco. Boom, Levi Stadium. Second time in 3 weeks, we have to face Seattle. Garbage Town, USA, Seattle.
This is the one where they bounce back. They come from back-to-back losses. Seahawks, they were 9-7, but I still think they're kind of on the decline. And this is where the Niners catch them off guard at home, especially doing back-to-back home games. They don't want to lose back-to-back home games. They got a third one coming up with Chicago Bears. So I think that they pull the win out here.
I agree. The 49ers win this game. I agree. Here we go. 2 games left. December 23rd, Week 16. Chicago with defensive coordinator Vic Fangio and his brand new shiny toy, Khalil Mack, coming to San Francisco to face Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo. Ray, what happens? Do they exact a measure of revenge? Last year, on December 3rd, 2017, 49ers win a tight one, 15-14. Now the Bears are back, trying to exact some revenge. Does it happen?
This is tough. This is a tough one. We did win this game in Chicago, and that was on field goals. I think we were missing a lot of pieces, and we couldn't run the ball very effectively, and could pass the ball good enough to get into field goal range. So I'm not sure. This is a tough one because Chicago is going to end up being they were 5-11 last year. So I don't know what kind of team they're going to be. And now that they have Khalil Mack, I feel like their pass rush is going to be crazy because that's going to open up opportunities for other players to make plays on the pass rushing side of the football. And, oh man, this is a tough one. I think we win against the Bears despite their Khalil Mack upgrade. Mitchell Trubisky, he's just, you don't know what you're going to get out of him.
This is going to be a great matchup, Shanahan versus Fangio. This is going to be great. This is actually going to be a good matchup. Chicago is a little bit of a dark horse. They got a little hype around them right now. The defense has definitely improved. Vic Fangio is an excellent defensive coordinator, obviously one of the masterminds behind the Harbaugh era, and now he's got a shiny, shiny new toy. But I like San Francisco at home. So you said they win?
Yes, they win here.
All right. Week 17. I will be at this game with Louis Bartone. You better believe it. I'm going to be there. In Los Angeles. San Francisco 49ers, December 30th. Here in LA to face those pesky LA Rams for NFC West supremacy, or at least a solid second place position. Last time we faced them, December 31st, 2017, we won 34-13. And then we'd faced them earlier in that year. We had lost 39-41 in what was easily one of the best Thursday night games ever. San Francisco at Los Angeles. Raymond, who wins this game?
You're not going to like this, but I think we lose on the road. I think they get the best of us in this one. Not by much. I think we win the road game. I think we win the home game against us, but we lose the road game against them.
I don't like that. You're
so
right.
we split with Seattle and the Rams, but we sweep the Cardinals.
Well, I think we lose in a tight one at home, beginning of the year. Niners maybe possibly fighting for playoff positioning, possibly for a wild card spot here. Must win for the Niners, not a must win for the LA Rams. Probably have already secured first place at this point, maybe first or second place. Depends where Philly ends up. And of course, you've got Minnesota nipping at their heels. Once I say all that, no, probably a must-win game for the LA Rams, too. I could definitely see a head-to-head clash of the Titans, NFC West, present and future rivalry. I say the Niners win. I think we do exactly what we did last year. We lose at home, they lose at home, and that's how we split it. That's just what my gut's telling me. Said that all last year, it's saying it again this year.
So you think we lose the home games?
I think we lose the home game. Both teams lose the home game. So I think we pull this one out. Now, Raymond, your final record is. Did you keep track of it? I kept track of it if you didn't.
I did. I was hoping you would keep track of it.
You have 12 wins.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They lose against the Seahawks. They lose against the Broncos. They lose against the Rams. They lose against the Chiefs, and they lose against the Packers. That's not.
Oh, 11. You have 11. You have 11. I'm just not good at counting. So you have them going 11-5.
Yeah, I don't see. It's hard to see them losing against teams like the Bucs, the Raiders, the Giants, the Bears.
All right, 11-5, and me, I have them going
11-5.
10-6. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I actually think they're going 9-7, but I have 10-6 according to this right here. I would probably say the game that I think is a little. I have them rattling off 4 in a row here on that last one. And
who would you give the other loss to?
Either the Bears or the Broncos. The Bears or the Broncos. One of those two games they lose, and I'm gonna say 9-7. I think is where this team ends up. And then you're saying, do you stick by 11-5?
Yeah, there could be another. I could be wrong, you know. I mean, anybody could be wrong with the guess. Some people think we're going 6-10. Some people think we're going 8-8. Yahoo Sports has us at 10-6. I think Bill Simmons has us
under 6,
under
5.
6, like 5-11, similar as last season. So I don't see that.
Dad has us, Rudy Solis Senior or Junior, the unofficial third member of the Goldcast. He has us also at 11-5. I think 9-7. I think one of these games here, either the Broncos or the Bears, right here in the last 4 weeks, one of these goes south. The Bears is definitely going to be a tough one. That's going to be a tough one.
Once they got Khalil Mack, it changed everything.
It really did, and I think
he's that good.
I do think he's that good too. I have them going 9-7. You have them going 11-5. You definitely have them going in the playoffs. I don't know if they make it to the playoffs this year. Could be close. The NFC is very, very tough. Now the question is, what about you, Goldcast Nation? What is your record for the Niners this year? Were we too optimistic? Is 9-7 too much? Is 11-5 too much? Are you more of like the Bill Simmons camp? We're going to be like 5 or 6 wins, or are you around Yahoo saying maybe 10? What say you. Let us know in the comments. Hop on YouTube especially. Let us know on YouTube. That's a great spot. Let us know what you think, where the Niners end up this year. Let us know. Now, Raymond, before we go, why don't you let them know? Where can they find you?
You can follow me on twitter.com at Ray Solis, and you can also follow me on Instagram at Ray Solis1.
And you can find me on Instagram at Rudy Solis 3, on Twitter at Rudy Solis 3RD. So concludes another edition of the Goldcast. We are the voice of the faithful. I'm your host, Rudy Solis III, and with me is my brother, my co-host,
Raymond Solis the First, baby.
Boom! This Sunday, it begins again. All the talk, all the predictions are over. The 49ers versus the Vikings in Minnesota. Let's go.
No more games, just sports.
No more games, just sports. We're very curious. Like I said, let us know what you think in the comments. Tell us where you think they end up. So excited. We will be back after this game for a recap of the Vikings game. And then, of course, we'll be looking ahead to the Lions coming to town to face the Niners. Here we go. 49er Nation, Goldcast Nation, faithful.
This is the Goldcast.